From the Fans Talk Wrestling family at fanstalkwrestling.com and in collaboration with TNAMecca.com, this is Fans Talk TNA, a weekly conversation about what's going on in the world of TNA and Impact Wrestling. After the episode is over, head on over to TNAMecca.com for more exclusive TNA conversations. This is episode 13 and was recorded live on January 20th on FTWLive.com. My name is Garvin, and I'm once again joined by Nick. Say hello, Nick.
Hi, kids. Did you miss me?
Oh, I missed you, man. It was hard. 20 minutes is a long time for one person to talk. All right, so on this episode, we're going to basically recap what happened this week on the premiere episode of TNA on their Friday time slot on Destination America. We're going to talk about what worked, what didn't work, and what we're looking forward to. So let's go ahead and get started. Eric Young went over Bobby Roode. Hardys went over the Wolves for the #1 contendership. Low Key got the title back. Havok and Awesome Kong is going to happen at some point, and the Beatdown Clan showed that they are an unstoppable force. Now they not only took out Kurt Angle, they made Kurt Angle submit, but they also literally stripped Lashley of the World Heavyweight Championship. So storyline wise, is this the right direction?
I think so. I think it presents a good opportunity for Roode to get a good build toward regaining the title. Because obviously he didn't have that chance when he won the belt right at the end of their run on Spike. So I think this is TNA's way of having a do-over without it actually being a do-over, and having it be Roode against the Beatdown Clan instead of just Roode versus Lashley. I think that makes more sense and kind of puts a fresh take on matters. So yeah, absolutely. I think they're going the right way with that. And with the X Division title as well, I'm kind of torn because I don't necessarily like the idea of hot potatoing the title in most circumstances. Now, with Loki and Aries doing the hot potatoing, and with this also being the X Division where title reigns normally don't get too long anyway, I think it's okay. So it just remains to be seen how well they'll pull this off. And with Aries, I think they will, considering that they're nowhere near Destination X, so there's no danger of him cashing in again.
Yeah, I'm also torn. Like you, I don't like the hot potato side of things. If this was leading to a feud, I think I would be okay with it. You know, I like the back and forth the back and forth competition. I like the title to be up for grabs, for, you know, it to be difficult to see who will be taking the title home. But for them to go, you know, the live show last Wednesday, for them to, you know, drop the title from Low Key to Aries, and then this week it go back. The reason why it bothers me is because this leads directly into the Feast or Fired match that's coming up, and Low Key is not part of that. Austin Aries is part of that. And that seems to be like what they're hyping. So Aries, I don't know if you guys subscribe to the Impact Wrestling SoundCloud account, but they released like a 2-minute soundbite monologue type thing with Austin Aries basically talking about his involvement in the Feast or Fired match and why that's important, and no mention of the X Division. So it seems like it was just like a one-off thing. So that bothers me, but it was a great match.
Yeah, very true. I was kind of hoping that this would lead to Aries aligning with Roode against the Beatdown Clan because he wants the title back, and that could still possibly happen. But yeah, I'm with you. It's a little bit weird that Aries suddenly doesn't seem to care about the title anymore now that he's in this match.
Yeah, it just, I don't know. It just seems like a one-off, and that kind of bothers me. But time will tell. Maybe this does lead to something. You know, the Feast or Fired match is circumstantial. So maybe this does lead to something. As far as the Lashley bit, you know, with Lashley leaving the Beatdown Clan, or at least leaving the grouping with MVP, I do like that. It does add a nice flavor to it. It does seem to be a natural progression of how the story has gone so far. So I'm totally cool with that. My fear though is, while we've looked at Lashley as, you know, the champion of the year last year, while we look at him as being one of the strongest wrestlers on the roster, his detriment is himself on the mic. It's a situation where he can't really, historically at least, he hasn't really been able to carry himself on the mic as a solo guy. So partnering up with MVP worked so well because MVP could talk for him, and MVP is fantastic on the mic. So my fear is this might expose him.
Yeah, that's definitely a valid concern. And we haven't heard Lashley talk too much since he came back to TNA, so maybe he has gotten better. Maybe his time in MMA has improved his mic abilities at least a bit. So maybe this won't be too bad. I'm kind of sort of entertaining the possibility that this might lead to a split between Lashley and MVP, and maybe have him align with Rude simply out of necessity. Which, face Lashley, I could get behind.
Yeah, that's definitely a good thought. And overall, I mean, only time will tell to see where this all lies. But right now, the World Heavyweight Championship, the title race, is really cool. I think we have a lot of nice names up there. We've got Bobby Roode, we've got MVP, we've got Bobby Lashley. Now EY is up there as well. So, there's a lot of different directions they can go, and that whole setup is very volatile. So, I think overall they're going in the right direction. I'm just fearful that, Lashley might not look as nice as he did last year. What's your thoughts as far as the whole Havok and Awesome Kong stare down that we got, once again this week?
I really like the idea of that eventually exploding into a feud. I like the idea of it. The way Havok's been handled, I'm a little apprehensive about the actual end product. But yeah, those two have a lot of potential to have a really good feud.
Yeah, again, and I said this last week, and ever since Awesome Kong has come back, that really lit a nice fire in the Knockouts division. There's a lot of cool opportunities. I'm not sure if I'm totally excited for the idea of Havok versus Awesome Kong, but for the title, having those four, having Awesome Kong, Havok, Gail Kim, and Taryn Terrell, just that combination of those four, I think is a real nice grouping. Overall, it's going to make that division feel a lot better, feel a lot more competitive. But yeah, right now it seems like the title's not even being thought about as far as between Awesome Kong and Havok, or at least on Havok's side. Awesome Kong is coming out to clear the ring to kind of, make her stamp on the Knockouts division again, and Havok is coming up almost like hold on, not so fast. You got to get through me first. I like that.
Yeah, and I think it presents a good opportunity for them to be sort of out of the way. Seems a little bit much, but that's kind of the general idea as far as the potential final match between Taryn and Gale. There's no setup for it right now, but there's room for it at least. Yeah, for sure. Beatdown Clan, EY's involvement. They say that EY is not a part of the Beatdown Clan, but he was basically alongside the Beatdown Clan the entire night. Are you confused about this relationship? Because I am. I'm confused of, like, he buys into the thought process. He buys into what MVP is selling, but not enough to actually physically join the group. I've been assuming that he is with MVP. I don't know. I can see the confusion because when EY turned heel, he didn't run out with MVP, and there's been a little bit of room for doubt there. But I don't know. I've just been operating under the assumption that he's with them and it's a done deal.
Oh no. I mean, MVP stated when he introduced EY this week that EY is not a part of the Beatdown Clan. He's just like a friend of the Beatdown Clan. Yeah. It was like a one sentence statement suggesting that EY was not a part of it, but every segment, every interaction, it is hard to tell.
Okay, no Canadians allowed. I got it.
Yeah, so I'm curious. I'm curious where this is actually going to lead to. Is this going to be another EY gets screwed situation? EY is like the odd man out because he's not an actual member. So, I don't know. It's just kind of awkward. But I like EY as a heel.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. So, this week we also got the debut of Impact Wrestling Unlocked, which, I think it airs on Saturday morning.
Yeah, it's like 11 in the morning or something.
I caught it on demand a little bit later on in the weekend, but I'm unsure. I'm unsure about the show. Because last week you weren't there. It was me. But one of the things that I was tossing around was like, is Impact Wrestling Unlocked, is that going to be worth watching? Is that a good secondary show? And as it stands right now, I don't think it is. It's basically a replay. It's almost a replay in full of that week's Impact, minus a few additional segments. So the gist is you get all the matches in full. So there was 4 matches this week. So we got all 4 matches. Then we got some of the backstage segments to kind of explain some of the other stories that are going on. Over those segments and matches, Mike Tenay was dropping some one-liner style, almost like a pop-up video style of fun facts. So, maybe fun facts isn't the right word, but just kind of like explanations of like why this is significant, especially like with the Beatdown Clan introduction to what that group is about. They were the Tenay notes were tying the references together. So what exactly was MVP talking about? And it was like a Wu-Tang Clan reference, and kind of just tied that all together to make a little bit more sense of where they got the name and what their plans were and all that stuff. So, but there was a few nice things added. One, we got a sit down interview. Mike Tenay sat down with Magnus and talked some non-wrestling things, almost like non-storyline things, as far as it being out of character. So we talked to Magnus about his kid, where he's been, about contracts, about his relationship with Bram. And some were within the story that they had been telling, and some was like completely out. And they even dropped the term storyline, which is really odd. So it's weird. And I think that's going to be my description for a lot of these changes that TNA are making. Right now, it's just weird because we haven't really received this type of stuff before.
Yeah, I can see that. And the time slot definitely makes it difficult for me to watch it, at least initially, just because I'm usually asleep when it's going to air. On the other hand, it sounds to me, I haven't seen Unlocked, but it sounds to me like it can definitely be a great intro to TNA, or sort of like an impact for the layman. I almost want to say it could be like TNA Saturday Morning Slam, kind of fit that role, but not quite as kid focused.
Sure.
It's just, I think it could be a good intro for people that aren't used to TNA, aren't familiar with it, and it could kind of ease them into it.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, right now to me it's a replay, like almost a replay in full. It's a 2-hour show, and we get all of the important bits, which includes every single match. So I don't know. To me, it's almost a wasted opportunity if this is all it's going to be. I was hoping for more, maybe an additional match that we didn't see, maybe a dark match from that show that somehow assists in their storyline telling. But, only time will tell. This is the first episode. But another thing that they brought into the mix was these rankings. So basically they were ranking like a top 5 ranking of everyone competing for the World Heavyweight Championship. The rankings that we got was number 5, Samoa Joe, number 4, EC3, number 3, MVP, number 2, EY, and number 1, Bobby Roode. Out of that list, do you think, I'm sorry, are you okay with that list? Do you think that's an accurate depiction of the title race as you see it?
I'm a little surprised about EC3. just given what he's doing right now, he has stated his intentions about the title, but he hasn't made any moves for it just yet. So that surprised me a little bit. But other than that, I think it definitely it fits.
Yeah, overall, I think Bobby Roode and EY being at the top makes sense. Bobby Roode because he's naturally the number one contender because he gets that rematch automatically because of, how world title contracts work. So that makes sense. EY being right up there also makes sense because of how the story is being told. I think EC3 being at number 4 is the most surprising just because, I've wanted EC3 here, but I wouldn't necessarily say that they've built him to be in this position based on the story. Like right now he's feuding with Jeremy Borash. That's not really title contention area, but but I think overall the list that they have here is quality. All right. So, lots of changes for Impact. We were told there's going to be a lot of just a new presentation of wrestling. So we got new camera angles, new way of going about things. Overall, do you like the changes that TNA has made thus far?
I can't really tell if it's the novelty of it, but I enjoy it right now. If it is a novelty, it'll wear off after a couple weeks, and maybe then I'll have a more definitive opinion on it. But right now, I'm digging the new stuff.
Yeah, overall, I don't have many complaints at all. I thought it was interesting how they were going about things. The commentary not being live as far as in the arena, I thought was weird, but I'm glad that this time that they did it, they made it clear that that's what was happening. So it's like, yes, we aren't in the arena. We're in Nashville. I thought that was an interesting presentation of it. I'm not suggesting it's bad, but it's different. For sure, it's different. The other thing that I thought was kind of odd, was the smoking. Taz smoking a cigar, at the beginning of the commentary. I thought that was odd. That's something you don't see on TV a lot. Many people suggest that you don't see TV or you don't see smoking on TV anymore because advertisers are against it. We have seen it in for a bit in Lucha Underground with
Big Rick.
So it's not completely new for us as wrestling fans, but I thought it was odd.
I think Taz is slowly trying to complete his transformation into a mafia don.
Yeah, again, it's not bad. I just thought it was odd. And then there's things that we have seen before as far as the how we saw EC3 and Tyrus take over the production truck or the production table. That's not necessarily a new concept, but the fact that they introduced us to the players there. So John Gaburick was there. I don't recall if they named the other guy. But yeah, it was nice that they introduced us to the backstage guys. I thought that was a nice touch. So again, that's like pulling the curtain back. I think that's part of what they're trying to do. So, that was nice as well. But I don't know if it really adds anything to the show. So, all right, Feast or Fired, real quick. Feast or Fired, we got Magnus, Aries, Bram, Eddie Edwards, Davey Richards, DJZ, Robbie E, Crazy Steve, Gunner, Samuel Shaw, Rockstar Spud. The Feast or Fired is going to happen this week on Impact. Your predictions, who gets what? I'm sorry, let's not do that. We don't have enough time. Who gets the world title shot and who gets fired?
It seems like a no-brainer. Crazy Steve is going to get fired. I don't necessarily think he'll be let go.
Yeah.
The guy himself, hopefully he gets repackaged. But as for the world title, I kind of want to see Magnus get another go at it.
I like both of those answers. The only thing that I would throw out there is, this is kind of fitting that we're getting this match now. As contracts are being announced, so it's kind of fun to play the elimination game of who's going to get fired based on who just recently got signed.
Yeah.
But Austin Aries, I would not be surprised if Austin Aries gets fired.
Really?
Really. Favorite moment. Okay, so one of the columns on TNA Mecca is called the Ringside Review. They're doing a little bit of a ranking system, not necessarily a ranking system, but favorite moment, least favorite moment, MVP of the night, and grade of the night. So your favorite moment of the night.
Favorite moment. Awesome Kong staring down with Havok again. Definitely up there. Least favorite, I don't know. Yeah, I don't think I've got one.
I'm with you. I don't really have a least favorite moment. I think my favorite moment is maybe Awesome Kong versus Havok, that stare down again. But I also liked EY winning. I thought that was a good moment. MVP of the night.
I think this is probably going to be unanimous among anybody who watched TNA, but the Beatdown Clan as a whole.
Yep, that's what was listed in the in the actual column. So we are on the same page there. Your grade, the grade that TNA Mecca gave as far as the Ringside Review was an A-.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I might be a little more generous and give it an A.
I'm gonna go with a B+. I think there. This is the introduction. It's weird. I think there's things that they can improve on, but overall, I'm still happy. I mean, I was a B student, and I's turned out pretty well, so I'm gonna go with a B+, and we'll go with that. All right, that's it. Any final thoughts?
No, not this week.
Cool. And that's the show. We'll be reading and responding to your comments all day on TNAMecca.com, so let's continue the conversation over there. Also, check out fanstalkwrestling.com for more information about us and how to get involved in the future. For Nick, this is Garvin saying goodbye. We'll see you next Thursday. Enjoy Impact, and join the live chat. We take over the Friday thread, the Friday article thread, and use that as our live chat. Definitely get involved in that, and get involved in the post show, the Impact Wrestling post show discussion, which happens over the weekend. That's it. We'll see you guys later. Bye bye.